Hello and welcome to another episode of Cyrils Brettspiele. My name is Nils, in a nutshell edition, Meteor. Technically I should only have 5 minutes for this review. Why, I explain it in a second. So this is a 5-minute game. It goes from 5 minutes, you have a timer, 1 minute, then down to 4, 3, 2, 1. And when round 1 is over and there's still a meteor in the middle of the table, you are dead. This is a co-op game, so everybody is losing together. Set up for 4 people would be 1, 2, 3, 4 launch sites. Each player has 4 resource cards and 7 meteors in the middle. So what happened is it's a simultaneous high active game. So at every single second each player has a decision of its own 4 cards. I explain all these cards in a second. However, what you can do is you can make one project on your launch site at a time. That could be a rocket, and if you fuel the rocket with 2 yellow cards, so you can, for an example, play 1 yellow card, then you start this project, and now you have either wait until there's a second yellow card, or you can simply discard it, but that is never a good decision. That is only the last thing you should do. Seriously, try to avoid to discard projects. However, the first card must come from the player's hand. The second card could come also from, and now when you're looking for it, you never find it, from that player over here. He is playing and I have it. Boom. Now the rocket is full loaded with 2 yellow cards. I can say launch or wait, and then I launch a rocket. And all players doing this at the same time. So here, for an example, they need a green and a yellow as well. Here's another yellow, so this rocket would be full as well. That is option 1 you can do. Let's take a quick brief look at all the resources cards. First of all, you have 4 different resources. That's just by color: red, green, blue and yellow. The other thing you have is rockets from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then you have technology projects like this. They require the same like the rocket. This, for an example, needs 3 red ones. They need a blue and a green one, a yellow, or a blue and a red one. And what does this mean? This is the spy satellite. When you start the game in the experiment version, expert version, sorry, you have this face down, and this meteor may have a size from 1 to 3. When you flip it over, it has a 1. This has a 5, so it's strong. And like this. With the spy satellite here, you simply flip all of them over at the same time. This technology is available here, and now you know all the meteors, which is pretty helpful. This is a mystery plan. Every single player gets an additional resource card, and resource cards are super pretty tight in the game. And this is really cool as well. That is a communication satellite. Before this is built, but I talk about the communication satellite in a minute. So before this isn't built, you are not allowed to talk to each other. After that, everybody can speak freely. That's what this symbol means. However, in the first game, it's highly recommended with playing with, we are down to 4. I'm pretty sure it's highly recommended to play with open cards and open knowledge here. So later on, it's it's also recommended to play with a communication satellite starting. Otherwise, it's really complicated. One other thing you can do on your building site is, let's assume you have these 3 rockets on your hand. So a 5, a 1 and a 2. Start with a 5, immediately add the 1 and the 2 from your hand, and now another player could come around and take the 4 and add it. Now you have 4 different rockets. You discard the 4 rockets, you get 2 cards, and each other player get 1 card in a 4-player game. Every time when you discard 4 cards that way, 4 different rockets or 4 different resources, you get 5 cards back. So you get an additional card back, and that is a really effective way of getting more resource cards. It's also when you have 4 of a kind, so 4 1 rockets would be doing exactly the same. However, just as a recap, when you start a rocket here 1 and you add a resource, it's done. It's your one project. If you start with a rocket and you add a different rocket, it's done. It's not a project anymore, it's this collecting thing. So it's up to you or your team members to decide what project you are working on. And keep in mind, communication is not allowed. So let's speak a little bit about how can you destroy a Meteor. Simply, if you have a 4 here and you say launch, you take this here, launch it to this Meteor with a 4, say this is destroyed and it goes off. Oh, we are down to 3 minutes, I'm pretty sure. So now you did that. Now you have a free rocket launch area. You start this one, take it and destroy that. Keep in mind, you're only starting with 4 resource cards on your hand, but every time this timer runs out, each player gets 1 additional card. There's also technology that gives each player 2 cards instead of 1, and so on. This is a game, a co-op game of working together for a high activity 5 minutes. It's exactly 5. Oh, we're down to 2. It's exactly a high activity 5-minute game. So what is my personal different experiences? And I'm switching right now because I'm down to 2 minutes. No, that's not true. So I'm slowing down a little bit. Like always, in a nutshell, I will tell you, and this was a good example a couple of seconds prior. It's a hectic game. It's really stressful. People could be like me. We could be totally in that game, part of that, sweating in just 5 minutes like hell. Why? This is really a hectic game and you feel the pressure. It's really tense. You're really working together as a team. And if you're really taking this non-communication rule seriously, you're always trying to here. That could mean, okay, I have 3 different ones. I'm waiting for the yellow one. I need more resources. And you're tapping down here. You're not allowed to talk. You're just tapping. But the other one is tapping as well. They need desperately a green resource. And then one is flying around. It is a really cool co-op game. And like most of the co-op games, I have to say, the difficulty level I really like on Meteor. When you're playing that without communication, with face down satellites here, meteors, that's cool, that's really cool. But if you beat the game a little bit too often, why not adding more? Adding these boss meteors, they are from range to 5 to 11, but they have special abilities. So they are coming more into it and things like that. The bosses are really nasty. But wait, there's more. There are these cards in it. It's so-called power cards. Each player can have an ID and can have a special power. And if you think, wow, that is really complicated what that means, easy peasy, you have a card glossary in it. So you just go to the power cards. I think that's the second last challenge cards here, power cards, and then you're looking what does that mean. So it was this symbol here, and you're simply reading what this power is. So, but wait, there is even more. You can spice it up with challenge cards. Now you have to make these challenges happen, and this is what we are down to 1 minute, I'm pretty sure. Now, this is what Meteor is all about. As always, like in a nutshell, and I'm a little bit too ruly-ish in this game here, in this review here. I'm talking too much about rules. I wanted to give you a little bit examples of my peer groups that played that game and my personal experiences. So I have really mixed different feelings on that. Not personal, but more the feedback from my players. So some people complaining about the game. The game is cool, the game is a good idea, but it feels like a big mixture of different mechanics, time pressure is in it, no communication. It feels totally random. It feels like everybody thrown out 15 million cards on the table and thought, wow, how can we play this together? And yeah, I have to agree, yeah, sometimes probably a little bit. Sometimes it feels a little bit like, oh, you're facing a situation that's nearly impossible, so why it is so hard? On the other hand, it could be also very easy. So if you have, for an example, wands, and with another one, so a setup like this here, then it's probably a pretty easy game. But if you have, on the other hand, 3 to 5 too much, then it's a pretty hard game. When the technology of communication satellite, and there's only one in it, on top of that, and you deal it out that first, it's probably easy to talk to. If it's below, it's never happening. Same with this spy. If you have that one first, you build it, you flip that over, you have total knowledge, and it's probably an easy game. But if you have that at the bottom, it's pretty an impossible game. However, there are other groups, they are really enjoying the atmosphere of a stressful game, 5 minutes of activities, doing something, working as a team, and making together, overcoming the stressful situation of destroying these meteors together, and really like this experience. So I have the full swing of experience in my peer groups, and that is usually a good sign for me. That means Meteor is not the standard game that you pick out of the shelf and everybody knows, okay, it's a deck builder. Everybody knows exactly what a deck builder is, but Meteor is not. Meteor is a co-op game where every single game is stressful, it's high activity, 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes it's over and you can restart it again. Most of my groups wanted to play it again, and could not stop playing Meteor. However, I had also other experiences I wanted to let you know. So this is my personal view on Meteor from Mike Young and Mayday Games. Cyrils Brettspiele durchgespielt? My name is Nils, and I'm pretty sure we overstretched the 1 minute. However, it's over. See you next time. Bye bye.